Alan Karpick with Isaac Haas. I really should start with Isaac Haas with Alan Karpick. I'm the B player here, but it's great to have Isaac here. We're talking TBT. We're talking Men of Mackey, and this is a Men of Mackey veteran, and Isaac Haas. And Purdue, he needs no introduction of what he meant to Purdue basketball for a 4-year period. You have to look at this, Isaac, and say that, you're about a couple weeks away from going into camp. I guess you're going to have a little 3 or 4 day camp, but this is an exciting thing. You've got what looks to be a pretty staunch lineup to bring to the table.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm really excited to get out there and, be with those guys and, get to play with AJ again, get to play with Robbie. He came in and played some open gyms back when I was in college. So it would be fun to actually like play in a competitive setting,
Yeah.
with him and Lou Jack and all these guys. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it.
I mean, when you were recruited to Purdue and out of Hoax Bluff, and this whole family thing really kind of comes into focus when you get like this, because you've got guys like you said, Lewis Jackson, you've got Rob Hummel, you've got Kelsey Barlow, even guys that didn't finish all the way, Jaquil Taylor,
Hmm.
all the way on down the line, and yet you're all coming back together. What does that mean? I mean, as a grad and as a guy that made a huge contribution at Purdue for 4 years, what is that? What is there a sentimental side to this? This is really a cool and fun thing.
Well, I think it speaks volumes, I think it speaks to the character of the people involved. I think everybody understands the whole loyalty aspect of it. And while some didn't finish all the way, for example, like Jaquil Taylor, he was
Yeah,
there and he was committed 100% throughout the
yeah,
entire process. He was always that guy that would kind of was the glue of the team, kind of brought us together. And he was a great roommate of mine for three
yeah.
years. So yeah, me and Jaquil go way back. But um, I think it just really, once again, speaks to the character. I think these guys are committed to coming in and, putting together a team that's has a chance to do something special and do it together, and represent Purdue in the process. I think that's what makes it fun.
It's been interesting on our site, just the interest level, and I shouldn't be surprised, but it's really some of the most read stories we've had this summer have been on you guys that we've interviewed, and that's a fun part of it. What was it like last year? I mean, you guys really, in some ways, if you look back at the grants, when you're a grandpa and and you look back at this pandemic, you guys made a huge difference in the psyche of this country, I think, in terms of playing. And it was all the better is that you had Purdue a gold and black uniform on. What was that like last year to step into that? In July, in the middle of a pandemic, a lot of uncertainty. You didn't know if you could do these types of events. What was your takeaway from that experience?
I think it was awesome. I think being able to come in and represent Purdue on a different aspect, again, it almost felt like college.
Yeah,
It felt like home almost. And so it was really good to go out there and just kind of represent Purdue in whatever manner I could. And so that's why I went out there and played as hard as I could. And while, it didn't go as well as we wanted last year, I think we have an opportunity to do even better this year. And I said, at the end of the TBT tournament last year, and I think you can go back in my tweets.
yeah,
I said I hope this is a stepping stone for future Purdue TBT teams, and I didn't know that it was going to be, you know, 3, 4 Purdue guys to all of a sudden, like 10,
yeah.
like, and almost the whole team is Purdue. So like that's an amazing step forward, and hopefully, even as in the future we can get even more guys to come play, because I just think it's really fun. It's really fun to be able to come together and compete for something. Like, you could say it's for the money, and that's obviously a big motivator. But at the same time, it's like playing with these other guys and playing with your teammates again. Like, it's just super fun.
Get us up to date on your career. You've got, you've obviously played summer league ball, and you've got contract opportunities in China. Give us what's the newest, and I know you have some options, and that's a good thing. But where are you in your pro career at this point?
Right now, I feel like I'm really coming along. Like I'm starting to bloom in other areas of my game that I didn't really think possible coming out of college.
Yeah,
Just being strictly low block, all this kind of stuff. Um, that's just not how it is in pro basketball, especially at this level. You have to develop and become a better player. And I've shown a lot of trainers, I've shown a lot of people around me that I'm actually really capable of being special and more than just being in the low block and being that big presence and a rim protector, pick and roll guy just straight up on the block. Like I've shown that I can shoot really well, and like I'm really really comfortable with that 15-footer. Threes are coming along really nicely. Like I'm not exactly like 70% 3-point shooter or something like Dakota
Yeah, understood.
Mathias, all those guys. But just being able to have those guys respect that range, I think that speaks volumes for the spacing of the court. Um, and that's something I've really come along with. Contract wise, once again, I signed in Guangzhou. It was a really fun year. We were actually in the bubble the whole time, so
Yeah,
that part was not fun. But being
yeah,
with those guys and in China and like really bonding with some of those teammates over there, I think it was really fun. It was a bottom team, and we made playoffs for the second time, I believe, in franchise history. Um, so I've never not been in the playoffs.
yeah.
Like
There you go.
ever since I reached college, and I've just never not been in the playoffs. And I told them that as soon as I first got there. I said, hey, when I get here, we're gonna make the playoffs, like I promise you. And lo and behold, it came down to the last game. We won our last game, and we made the playoffs. And I just went up to the assistant GM. I just hugged his neck, and I was like, man, I told you, I told you. So yeah, it was a lot of fun last year, and it was really special seeing those guys face light up. A team that has always been at the bottom, like always looking forward to their vacations, like really
Yeah.
come together and like fight for something, and being able to push us to another level and be in the playoffs. So this coming year, I have a couple options. Not real sure where it's going to be yet. Have a couple in China, have a couple in Europe, things like that. And obviously, I'm still open to the NBA. We'll see what happens, but I know I'm just going to go out there and lay it all out on the court.
Yeah, you could have a chance to get 6 more games in the TBT. That would be all to the good, I think, for
Exactly.
you from that standpoint. All right, now you're also up in Minneapolis. In fact, it's where you are now training. Tell us a little bit about that. What's going on with that? I mean, because one of the challenges of getting this team together is getting guys that can all play at the same time. Jawan Johnson's been, and not everybody's schedule works. A lot of guys have had to move some things to get to this team. Tell us where you are and what's going on with that.
Oh, so obviously I'm in off season. I'm just working really hard right now. Took about a month off after season, just kind of really chilled, spent some time with family,
Yeah,
went hiking, did a whole
yeah,
bunch of fun stuff outside because that bubble was pretty rough.
yeah,
Um, but then, I came back and got in really good shape, and I've been in shape for probably about a month and a half, 2 months now, and I'm feeling really, really good, and cut my body weight down a lot, and now I'm training up here with JD Jones, and I'll be playing in some programs with Tyus Jones and a bunch of other professional players up here in Minneapolis, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm actually really looking forward to it. Just a lot of prep games, prepping, playing one-on-ones, playing 5-on-5s, all this kind of stuff to get ready for this TBT, because this is all like leading up to the big event, right? Like I'm really
yeah.
looking forward to getting out there with those guys and really performing like um, much much better than I did last year. So
Yeah. Do you look at this? I mean, it gets serious, does it not? I mean, because not that you didn't take it seriously last year, but this is all of a sudden not only business, but pride. I mean, you guys have, takes you right back to your playing days, and you got Rob Hummel and Lewis Jackson and Kelsey Barlow. Pride had a very good run at Purdue. Is that how big a part of that is this? As Tennessee, you're going to play the Volunteers. They've had a good program. They've been successful. They think they're special. How big a part of that is all this?
I think pride is a huge part of it. Being able to put on a jersey, and while it's not the official, Purdue jersey, it does
Yeah,
mean something. It
yeah,
represents something, right? And so being able to step out there and wear a gold and black uniform, white and black, whatever it is, Men of
yeah,
Mackey, like it means so much to somebody who's poured blood, sweat, and tears into a program, right? And not to mention being able to go back in time and play with the baby Boilers again, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
except one of them's coaching us. So, yeah, but it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. Like, just picking their brains and kind of understanding where they are in life, and being around them, and who knows, like, from an experience perspective, maybe they can offer more, detailed experiences to help me improve my game, and same for me to them. Who knows?
Yeah, I want to ask you a couple more questions on playing AJ with AJ again. I mean, that to me, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you play. I'm looking forward to seeing Rob Hummel. That's probably one, but AJ Hammonds is intriguing to me. Kelsey Barlow is intriguing to me. What's that going to be like? What was your relationship like with AJ Hammonds? And I mean, you guys banged a lot while playing in practice, shared time a fair amount. You were different types of players, but still, that's been a pretty strong not only competition, but I would assume bond also because you were very skilled and brought different skills to the table for Purdue in the mid 2010s.
Right. I just really loved being around the guy. I think he's
Yeah.
just a really goofy guy. He's a lot of fun to be around. Um, and I
He's not as
always,
goofy as Kelsey, is he?
well, I don't really know Kelsey.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
actually looking
Kelsey's
forward.
not. Yeah, you'll
Yeah.
like Kelsey. No, Kelsey's not. Kelsey's smart goofy, but he's just goofy. But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah. No, I'm looking forward to actually meeting Kelsey and getting to know him and like
Yeah,
playing with him too. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But with AJ, personally, like, I think he pushed, me to be better in a kind of like a big brother way, like maybe not saying as much, but like kind of showing it. Um, but then like me, like I was always like pushing him, pushing him, pushing him, like, fighting him, making him, trying to make him better and stuff like that. So, looking back on it, man, that was just such a fun time in my career. Like, just really pushing myself and like being the best player that I absolutely could. And in the meantime, pushing him to be better. And while we were competing, for starting spots and stuff, I mean, that just comes with the game. Everybody does that. So, it developed a little bit of a fire, like underneath both of us, right? Like, we were just always like having to fight in practice, like one on ones all the time,
yeah,
going at each other. So, it's going to be fun. It was really sad, actually. Our sophomore year when we lost to, I believe that was Arkansas Little Rock that year. Um, that we lost, and that was his last year. That really broke my heart because we were kind of in this together, and
yeah,
it really sucked that we couldn't go further, right? Because I
yeah,
just saw so much talent and options in him for him to be such an amazing like professional player. Um, I just wanted him to go further. I was
yeah,
kind of doing it for him as well as myself. So moving forward, to nowadays, it's going to be a lot of fun to go out there and play with them again, and
yeah,
I'm sure we'll bring different skill sets once again. I've evolved in my game a lot more than in college, so I'm sure he'll see that and be like, "Whoa, what the heck?" Like,
yeah,
I thought, so it's going to be a lot of fun going out there and just kind of showing him how much I've grown and then kind of seeing how he's changed and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to playing with him. And I really hope that, this team just really comes together and has a great bond. I think that we will.
yeah. I think you will too. Ryan Smith playing for Ryan, you did last year.
Hmm.
A lot of really complimentary comments by guys I've talked to. Ryan's obviously a college coach and an extremely intelligent, very good basketball player too. But what's that like, and what does he bring to the table? I know Ryan Kay also kind of put the band together, so to speak, which is kind of a cool story in its own right. But what all does that mean, having the two Ryans as part of your kind of your leadership of this operation?
Well, I'll start with Ryan. Ryan has been a huge instrument, in the coaching aspect and like, developing the plays and like defensive strategies, offensive strategies, whatnot. I think he's just an incredibly smart, player and coach. And it was a lot of fun, like kind of watching him coach us. Like, he's only a few years older than me, so
Yeah,
it's just like kind of interesting to see how his mind was already like as a coach, like
yeah,
coaching all the guys that are just a little bit younger than him. Um, and it's just fun. Like, he's texted me a couple times, like, what kind of sets and stuff do you want to run and all that kind of stuff. And I just said, hey, listen, like, just this, and this. And, but at the end of the day, like, as long as, we're getting good shots and, as long as I'm taking good shots, making good passes, like, that's all I really care about. Um, And so he was able to, draw up some good stuff. And I'm sure that, we'll walk through it here in about the next week and a half.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. With Ryan, me and him have developed a really good relationship over the past, year and a half now, I'd say.
Yeah,
He's a really good guy, and he's really fought to make ends meet to make this team come together. And man, he is one heck of a GM, so
yeah.
far. And I hope that he continues down this path and potentially, become something more than just a TBT GM. Who knows? I think that he's a really special guy, and he works hard. And he's a lot of fun to be around. Very charismatic, and he's just a really good person. So
Yeah, he's told me about the budget he's got to put together for food for you guys. So he said that that's one of the big challenges, and that's not surprising.
for sure.
Lastly, I want to ask. I've asked a couple of guys this question. Obviously, Zach Edey's getting a lot of attention. Travion Williams is going to be, this is a very loaded Purdue men's basketball team for 21-22. Not to mention Caleb First and Jaden Ivey. If you were going to be at first practice and we're going to stand in front of the team and talk to them, what would you tell them? Because this is a team with a lot of expectation, a lot of talent. You can relate to that. You had that in your career. But what would you tell them heading into this season with a lot of expectations?
Well, I'd kind of take him back in history a little bit. I'd tell him, last year, I tweeted what I said towards Purdue basketball with confidence that, we've been there before. Like my class was there. Like we
Yeah,
were at the bottom, and we literally lost first game of the tournament. Like, and we had so much talent, so much potential, and then we ended up doing something special with it. The big thing is being able to commit to the program, commit to what you're doing, commit to yourself, commit to your brothers, commit to the program, commit to coach, and just do it with no questions asked. Because when you do that and you trust in that, that's when you're going to see something special happen. Like when we won our 19 games straight and then we
yeah,
lost three straight. You can go watch Josh Bonnetal's interview that
yeah,
he did discussing all of that. Like we sat down as us four seniors, me, PJ, Dakota, Vince Edwards, in Josh's office, and we were just like, all right, well, this needs to happen. Like, well, what's gonna happen when we're gone? Like, we need to set a culture here that we just do it with no questions asked. We show up on early. We show up like this. We go as hard as we can. All these kind of things, and immediately we turned it around. And unfortunately, that year, I broke my elbow, and like,
yeah.
that it changed a lot of stuff. But the thing is this team is it coming up for Purdue is extremely special. And if I were to stand in front of them right now, I would just say, just look to the guys to your left and right, because these are the guys you are going to be fighting with for the rest of the year. And you need to commit to each other. You need to push each other. You need to hold each other accountable, hold each other responsible, make sure that we're doing the right things in the classroom, off the court, on the court, everything, because this matters. And these are the guys you're going to hold these relationships with for the rest of your life. So,
Yeah. I was going to say, well said. I think they can sign you up to do it. And I think that's been the message that you guys carried through in your time, and it will be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch you guys July 23rd, 7 p.m. ESPN against the Volunteers, and you hope that you got to win 3 in Columbus before you can go to Dayton and try to win 3 more. But pack your suitcase. You may have a lot of fun there. I know you're gonna have fun, win or lose. It's gonna be a heck of a lot more fun if you win. But I got to believe it's a lot of fun to get back with guys that you love and played with, and it's hard to beat that.
absolutely. And Purdue Nation, one last thing. I just ask that you come out and support us. You go out to
Well,
Columbus, buy the tickets, come out there and show us love. I know that we're going to love to have you guys there, and we'll look forward to meeting each and every one of you guys. So whether you're sitting at home or whether you're at the arena with us, we love you guys. We're doing this for you guys, and see you soon.
all right, sounds great, Isaac. Thanks so much for your time. Good luck to you. We'll really enjoy watching this, and hopefully a run all the way to August 3rd with the Men of Mackey. And I know that you always did wear the gold and black well, and you'll get a chance. It's kind of cool that you get a chance to do it again. So enjoy the experience.
Thank you.